What is going on, everyone? I am Grumpy Koala, and today we're going to be taking a look at KillJoy on ICEBOX. Similar to the other videos, and if you haven't seen those, I'll put them in the comment section below. I am going to be doing one setup and one lineup per site on both offense and defense, so that way it's simple, easy to learn, and if you want to play KillJoy today, tomorrow, or the next day, you can get right into a game and start winning more games in Valorant. So without further ado, let's get right into this one. We're going to start off with A site on defense. I prefer A site a little bit over B site on this map, but there's some really good choke points on both sides. So we're going to be taking a look at that for the main setup. So let's go over here. So first for the turret, I prefer really to put it on top of this box right here because this will see both where the rope is. It'll see the peek out from here as well as just coming through main. It's really good for covering all that. The only thing you'll be missing is back there. So as you can see, from here you'll be missing out on belt, but it'll cover both pipes and nest. So along with that, even if they destroy this, what you can do is I prefer to put the alarm bot right here about, so that way when they're coming around, they can't see a lot of it until they get about here and they get too close. And once they get here, they're going to be looking at here, default, or maybe other side of maze or screens, and then they'll be checking up there. So they won't really be looking for it specifically. If you put it on the ground right around here, they'll be coming up and they'll be able to see it right away. Along with this, I like to duel this up with a molly on both sides right here and then near default. Because as they come around, after they check maze, they'll push onto site, they'll check screen and maze, and one of the really common places for people to hide after that is right along here, so that way they can peek out and shoot screens. So by having these two mollies right here, if they either push onto site to plant default, or they hide right in that corner, you can pop both of these and do damage around the whole area. And so if they push on site, you can also hang back here, so that way if they push all the way further to avoid the mollies, you just pop them real quick. So I think that's the best setup for a site. I use it a lot. Even if they get used to it and they start looking for your mollies and your alarm bot, you can just peek out real quick, shoot them, and then that's the end of them. So that's about it for A site. Let's go take a look at B site on defense. For B site on defense, I prefer to take a slightly more aggressive method with placing my turret. So I prefer putting it in this corner over here so that way it can see all of long, and then if they get around to long, it can also see on the left side of these boxes. This way, as soon as they push out, you know that they're there, and so that you can communicate to your team that you see them on the B side of the map and be long. They might, of course, rotate out, but this provides a lot of pressure and vision early into the round without exposing you. So if they were to peek this with a Vandal or an Op, then you don't have to take the brunt of that damage because your turret will be watching for you. So for the alarm bot and the mollies, I actually prefer a couple different ones. So I'm going to show you one that I enjoy. It's the one right here is a good one because then it'll show them as they're pushing out. However, I prefer to put one about right here on default. So with whether they have a sage or not, once they get up to here, they're going to be pushing hard on the site, so that way they can plant default or this corner right here. And so along with that, I'll just put one molly behind and one molly in front, and this creates a nice little Venn diagram for when they push onto site and covers everything for that. So they have to push onto site there or around there, and at that point, if you're hiding right about here, so that way your turret's still active, you can just peek out, shoot them real quick, whether or not they're yellow or planting default, and you're good to go. I think that's the best. So it's nice, simple, and easy. Before we go on to taking a look at attack side, I want to mention the alt points. So for alt point on A, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you're trying to keep control of the site before they get on, you can just plant anytime. And then for post plant, we'll come over there real quick. For post plant, right outside a site is fine because it covers most of a site. So what this will do is it'll force them into the back site here, or it'll force them off site to like belt outside near nest area. It's not perfect, and if you can, the best one is probably to ult in screens. However, that requires you to actually be almost on site. So if there's maybe one or two people on the other team left, that's probably the best bet. To go back over to B site now, again, you can ult to keep control of site. So when you're on site, you just ult before they get there. However, the nice thing about B site is that if they're not pushing out through mid, or even if you have somebody covering mid, you can either plant here or you can plant from up here. We'll take a look at what that covers for you just so you have a general idea. So planting up here will cover everything up to edge of yellow and then all the way to 2. This is a little risky because they can shoot it from here, and if you plant right here, they can shoot it from danger. So I would suggest being mindful of where your enemies are, so that way you can ult in a strategic manner. I prefer actually really to use this as a bait device, so that way you can ult right here, and then as they're shooting from danger, you just come out and shoot them real quick. It's up to personal preference for that. So let's go take a look at attacker side now. Now take a look at a site on offense, where there's two strategies that are really involved for playing KillJoy on offense. One, it's trying to play more of an aggressive take with your abilities, and that's for the turret at least. That's what I prefer to do. So I prefer to put my turret right here, so you can see nest, back sight, rafters, and kind of almost like that box from your default. And then for alt, you can really just alt anywhere in this general vicinity. You just gotta make sure that you watch for the push out, since everything here will cover almost everything except back rafters. If you force them back there, you'll know where they are, and you can just shoot them down. For alarm bot, if you're trying to do the lineup with the molly that I'll show you, it's probably better to put the alarm bot for flank, since you'll be vulnerable from there. If you're playing on site, you can just put it on default or something and then throw a molly on top of it. But for this lineup, I would say keep the alarm bot as a flank mechanism, so that way you can put it near mid or something just around here, so that way they have to walk through it. Because the lineup for default, so obviously if they plant default, you can just like walk into this corner right here, and then what you want to do is you're going to find this like kind of this corner right here. You're going to go over slightly to the left, and then you want to go about 3/4 up, or about halfway of this kind of distance. So 3/4 up from here to here, or about half here to here. And then you're just going to do a normal left click. And then you'll see it lands, and it covers all of default as well, just because it's a molly, so it has a very nice distance. So even if you don't plant all the way in that corner for default, maybe plant a little bit open, so that way you can shoot it from here. The molly will hit as well. That's really good, really easy. It protects you from sight. For if somebody's on site, they won't be able to see you and hit you, so that's why the alarm bot's probably better for flank on this one. So let's move on over to B site now. Now for B site on attack, you can use your utility in a similar method for more keeping site versus more aggressive. I prefer more of aggressive one on this site. So with my turret, you can do kind of like a half peek, place your turret, and this will allow you to watch snowman, this side nest, and then default as well. And you can also peek off your turret. For alarm bot, because you're going to be in range for your lineup, you can put it on site right here. Or because you're going to be vulnerable from flank with this lineup, you can put the alarm bot on flank right about here. Then before we get to the lineup, let me just say that the alt is a little bit similar to, you're gonna have to be careful with how you use it. So you can use it in this corner, or you can use it on this corner to protect either side. The only problem is this doesn't cover all of yellow and danger, but once you get closer to over here, it does. So it's really personal preference whether you want danger covered, or if you want like a little bit open, so you can just know where they're forced to. Just say for that. For the lineup, what you want to do is going to come into this side with the barrel. You're going to look up and then see this corner. You're going to come all the way up just so you're beneath that next kind of gray line right there. Just do a normal left click, and what it's going to do is going to come all the way down, and it's just going to land right here. So you can see that if you're planting, that it might cover just tiny spots, like miss tiny spots right there. So I would just make sure when you plant, you just walk up a little bit to like right here, or if you're planting over here, just plant right here. So that's about it. Still works pretty well. And I would say throwing it twice, and then you can just peek with your turret, and you're all good to go. So that is about it. Nice, quick, easy. I know you guys are going to use these to win some more games, because you are all talented and you're all going to get better at Valorant, and we're all going to do it together. So I hope you enjoyed. If you do have any more questions, let me know in the comment section below. If you have any concerns, let me know in the comment section below. But I hope to see all of you guys winning some more games, crushing it with KillJoy. And until next time, I will see you all later.